Mm. Hey y'all, welcome to the Devon A. Morris Unfiltered call-in show. Have a seat. Let's get ready. You have any questions? Come on, call in. Come on to that Discord channel. Do me a favor, get the Unfiltered crew some finger snaps. We're ready to get started here. Mondays, 8 p.m. Every single Monday, we're here. I'm excited about it. Are you? Let's get this show started, y'all. The greatest scrum show on earth. I'll see y'all soon. Enjoy. How are you doing? For those that are here now, for those that will see us in the future, welcome to the Unfiltered Call-In Show, where we talk about Scrum, Agile, entrepreneurship, all those kind of things, right? So, we're back, man. Last week, it was the 4th. I mean, not that I don't really celebrate the 4th like that, but, it was the 4th. Day off. So we took it off, right? So that was a good thing. I actually missed you all. I really, really did miss you. Right? So, happy Monday to everybody in here. Happy beginning of your work week, if that's how you begin it. Hopefully, you're having an amazing start to your work week. Let's talk real quick about how this thing goes, okay? Many of you all have been here before. You know how it goes. But this is a show where you can actually call in and ask your questions. You can ask questions related to Agile, Scrum, entrepreneurship in general. I always throw the actual link to join the chat in the actual chat rooms. Now, you're welcome to actually add your comments to the actual comments within the chat, the online chat, whether you're on LinkedIn or come to YouTube, whichever one you want to put them in. I will answer your questions either way. Just know that people that call in will get priority. Now, agenda here so you all understand. Today, we're going to be talking about maybe some ideas around no collaboration, knowledge sharing, things like that. I'll talk to you about some of the things that I've seen. And then I kind of went and told myself, I want to take this one a little bit differently. I want to look up some studies and see what some studies have said and not just be my opinion, right? So I want to make sure that I start hitting you all with some evidence-based information. So we're just not talking about pure experience here. Does that make sense? So hopefully you're okay with that. Now, our topic, no collaboration or knowledge sharing. We'll talk about that. We'll talk about that after I do an initial introduction. So we normally spend the first 5 minutes or so talking about what's happening. Make sure you say hi to me in the chat. Please do that. Right? Say hi to me in the chat so I can say hi back to you online here. After we do that, we go ahead and we talk about the topic for about 15 minutes, around 8:15, maybe 8:20. We'll go ahead and open up the lines so people can have a conversation or at least ask questions, okay? So that's how we really operate. That's how everything goes as we move forward, okay? So this is going to be amazing. I absolutely love it. I'm glad to see people are showing up here. It is nice to see you. Patrick, how you doing, man? It's always good, man. I am doing very, very well. It's I'm just glad, happy to see you, brother. For real. Always happy to see you. Evelyn, I feel so bad about not getting you in that class, but I know that you're doing some great work. And I'm going to make sure that we connect you up for the future. Because I had to cancel the class because I had to do some things. So just so you know, I ain't forgot about you, Evelyn, okay? Let's see. Hey. Nene. Something like that, right? Hopefully I'm right. If I'm wrong, hey, charge it to my... Don't charge it to my heart, right? My heart is very, very sweet. Okay, so don't charge it to my heart. So hello, welcome. Katie, how you doing? Hopefully you're having an amazing time. Unfortunately, this one just says, hey, it just says, Hey, hello, brother. I'm gonna make an assumption. That could be like my guy Sakib or other people, but I don't know why it just says LinkedIn user. That's a very odd situation, right? AB, what's going on? How you doing, AB? So that's always an amazing good thing. Like to see people that I've had in classes before. So hopefully you all are good. Let's see. Oh, hey, Julie, how you doing? Hola. Speak to me in a different language. I like it. I love it. I absolutely love it. I do. It's just truth, right? My daughter speaks Arabic, so I'm actually very, very happy to always see people whose native tongues may not be English. Love it, love it, love it. Sometimes I wish my native tongue wasn't English, so then, it'd been more important for me to learn English then. So you all, the topic for today, and note, I'm gonna be looking over here some notes that I wrote, so then I can actually make sure that I actually have really good conversation with you in terms of knowledge sharing and collaboration. When we talk about collaboration, well, did I really say what was going on? I'll talk about what's going on with me in a little bit, right? I'm just really ready to jump into the topic. So let's just jump into the topic. I'll talk about what's going on with me and life in general afterwards, okay? So let's just really get started with the information here since we're 5 minutes in. Knowledge sharing practices. So when I talk about collaboration, I'm really talking about people working together. In some type of way that's going to help them be more effective. Well, collaboration could go wrong, right? But the idea is that when I'm speaking about collaboration, one of the biggest things within the agile space is that we work on complex adaptive systems, and complex adaptive systems have a characteristic where, one, people have different types of knowledge, specific skills, right? And that feedback is needed and collaboration is needed when you're dealing with a complex adaptive system. So raising kids is a complex adaptive system. Driving a car is a complex adaptive system. Software development, complex adaptive system. A lot of things that involve human beings in it to get it done is classically a complex adaptive system. If you want to learn more about that, come take the CSM class. We can talk about it all day. But the idea is that there's a need for collaboration. And in this type of work, you need to have the different resources work together to get something out the door. And that's extremely good. When they're not working well together, then you run into all kinds of issues. Probably the biggest problem that happens when teams aren't collaborating very well, you'll notice it in communication. That's probably the first place where you will notice it. Because the number one reason why teams fail, well, teams maybe not deliver as much as they possibly can, or they're not as effective as they can be, is normally a communication problem, right? It's the number one reason why projects fail. So literally, when you start thinking about this, collaboration, at least for the type of work that many of us do, is something that we absolutely need and we look forward to. Now, the other side of the equation is knowledge sharing, because knowledge sharing needs to happen, and knowledge sharing happens in many, many different ways. So don't think I'm just saying, hey, the actual teaching part of knowledge sharing. Where you're actually transferring knowledge from one person to another or one person to many. Yeah, that's a form of knowledge sharing. But remember, knowledge sharing can be, and I wrote a list here, informal, can be done in meetings, can be done from someone who has expertise as maybe a lead of that team. You can have electronic forms. The classic electronic form that I'm used to seeing is a wiki of some kind, a blog of some kind. Knowledge sharing happens through emails, phone, text, right? You start looking at other things like different chats, right? I won't mention any of them by name, but you know a few chats. And there's many other ways to actually knowledge share. So just remember, knowledge sharing isn't just one thing. It can happen across a breadth of ways, okay? And as long as you understand that can happen across different ways, that's important. The question that you got to ask yourself is this: why would your team be motivated to share, to collaborate, or to share knowledge. You have to understand that if there are things taken away from their motivation, you're going to have problems, period. You really can't get around it. Now, if you go look at the book called Drive by Daniel Pink, he says once you take money off the table, people are motivated by purpose, autonomy, and mastery. And for knowledge workers, that typically is one of the things that you can point toward. There are many other things that exist, many other theories out there. But, you know, from an easy perspective, I definitely espouse to that because it's so easy for people to digest, right? But there's a lot more to it. Now, I wrote a list here, or at least from a couple studies that I looked at. Where does their motivation come from? Do people enjoy sharing with each other? Do people have knowledge that they want to share? Are people there to strengthen the ties between the other people that exist amongst the team? Is the organization offering extrinsic rewards? Okay. When I said purpose, autonomy, and mastery, I said take money off the table. Money is an extrinsic reward, right? Purpose, autonomy, and mastery are more intrinsic rewards, right? What about their leader, manager told them to do so? They do it to fulfill their responsibilities. So one of the things that you want to find out is why. Just why are they motivated? What motivates them? What is the source behind that? Because this impacts their collaboration, this impacts their communication, it impacts everything, right? Got a question for you all. When you have worked with teams, what is a classic reason that you see, that you have found, that members of the organization in general have not been willing to share? If you can just think of one or two of those things, reasons why people be motivated not to share, why people will be rewarded why not to share, drop those things in the chat. Because I want to see what you all think. I threw some sources out there, but what are some reasons that you all believe that people just aren't that interested in actual collaborating or sharing knowledge? Yeah, drop it in the chat. We'll talk about it in just a moment, right? Because there could be things happening in the organization that actually puts people in a place where they don't want to. Where they don't want to share knowledge. Where they don't want to collaborate. Okay? What are some of those ways? Okay? I see off the bat, Miss Hancock, right? Job security. That's a big one. You know, this is one I classically run into. But this is a reason why people are unwilling to collaborate. I see job security several times, right? So thank you. I appreciate it, Ms. Hancock. Let's see. I see selfishness. Julie writes selfishness. Yeah, I've seen that. This whole crab mentality. And I know, Patrick, what he means, right? You know how you get crabs in a barrel and they won't let nobody get to the top? Glory hunters, right? It's just, people just have insecurity about doing it. Probably all of them boils down to what Evelyn says here. Fear. They have some fear of something. Okay? And so you're going to have to find a way to ease that fear to help them get around that fear. That becomes part of your job. And if you want to help them do that, you have to find a way to take that fear and turn it into something where they're encouraged to participate, to share, to get more involved. Does that make sense? That's what you got to do. You got to flip that fear into something that's very different, where they're willing to share regardless of what they do. And then when you do that, you also want to make it easy for them to share, easy for them to collaborate. The easier it is for them to collaborate, the easier it is for them to share, the more of that stuff you're going to see happening across your teams. Does that make sense? So this is where it becomes extremely important, where you, as an agilist in general, probably can have some impact on. Even if your impact isn't global in scale, even if your impact isn't the entire organization. Let me repeat that. Even if your impact is not the entire organization, you still can have an impact on your one team. Does that make sense? On your one team. The question is, do you even recognize this as a problem? Because when you really think about it, that's a root cause. You tend to see other things like various communications or other types of practices that pop up as things you want to tackle and battle. When you got to get at whatever's stopping them. You have to get at whatever's stopping them. And if you can find a way to flip that switch, if you can find a way to encourage people to do simple things. A perfect example of this is if you have a tool in your organization. One simple way to share is to update the tool, right? A lot of y'all are running around making people update the tool. I don't have problems with teams updating the tool. Because normally I tell them I'm willing to be a dead scrum master, a dead agile coach for them, and they know if I'm willing to put my job on the line that I probably would do anything else for them that I can. And so I can usually build trust with teams real easy. The question is, if you don't have trust with that team, how can you even communicate that message? How can you even get around to the place where you actually can work with them through the collaboration problems or through the issues that they have with knowledge sharing? How are you going to actually do that? I don't know, man. I really don't know. But you're going to have to figure that out as you go on this journey. And when you go on that journey, you need to come back and have a conversation with me. Let me know how it went. We can sit back and have a beer together. I don't really drink. So I have a lemonade and you have a beer. I have a water and you have a beer, right? Whatever that is. Do you understand? Now, here's the whole problem. Now, anybody that's been around me, Miss P. Bell, you know this because you've been at this show before, because I done seen your name. I holler and scream because it's important for me. That's the reason why I do it. Anybody that's been in the class with me, anybody that's been around with me whatsoever, this is what I do. I can't even help it. Do you understand? This is how I operate. I've always been this way. Just because I am who I am. Like Popeye the Cellar Man. Oh, man! I may have come up with a new agile thing. Woo! I like it. I like it. I love it. But do you understand? You have to find ways to get these teams to make a move. To get these teams to believe in each other when nobody else believes in them. You got to get your team in a place where, me and my teams, let me grab my guy right here. Okay. See my guy right here, me and Mumbles? This is one of my team members right here. When we roll, we roll. Do you understand? We live together, we die together, we get to the goal together, or we don't at all. You understand? Or we don't at all. This is Mumbles, baby. How you doing, Mumbles? You understand? I need to put Mumbles. Okay, I'm going to have to sit Mumbles down here. I love Mumbles. I always carry Mumbles around with me. There's no question about that. I yell because I get excited. For no reason. That's just what I do. This is why I say, this is why I open it, the jacket up and say, you got to coordinate. You got to coordinate. Plow! You got to coordinate. My man. All right, so yeah. Anyway, that may that may be about our time on that topic, right? So that being said, I did pass off the actual link for you all to join me either on the chat, not on the chat, but on the call if you have any questions, or you are welcome to drop your questions in the actual chat window. You are welcome to do that as well. Okay? This is where we open up the show to all your questions, and I'll be here as long as you all want me to be here. I ain't got nothing else to do, man. Let me tell y'all the secret. My kids they're almost grown. Like, they almost grown. Like, grown. But the last one is about to go to college. So you know what I'm going to do? Have free time, baby. Free time, baby. That's what I'm going to have. Having a whole trunk party this weekend. So you know I'm over here celebrating. For no reason. Anyway, let's talk about what's going on. I think next week I got a CSM CSPO class happening during the week, 4 days. Just half day for both of those classes. So that's happening. And then early August, I'm probably running a weekend CSM, probably a weekend CSPO. I'm getting to the point where I'm wrapping up this last kid, getting her butt into college. So it's been a lot of that lately. Other than that, my pride and joy right now is this Gwen Stacy comic book. It really is. Any comic book heads out there would know what I'm talking about. Rode my bike a little bit today. Rode out that hour, man. It gets so hot in Texas. It's ridiculous, man. It's ridiculous. But anyway, I jump out there and ride so I can keep my strength up. You see this shirt right here? I ain't pulled this shirt out in a while. This is Adidas. I need to get more Bearded Eagle shirts out there for everybody. Because people think I be playing with the gear. I don't play with the gear, man. All I wear is BE stuff. See this? Because Adidas brands together. Anyway, back to the subject, y'all. So any questions that you all have, you're welcome to join the show. You're welcome to drop those questions in the chat. That's really, really important. And I'd like to go ahead and start talking about a few things that we have. Like kids ain't a thing. Well, kids are a thing. They are a huge thing. They are money consumption thing. They just take your money and they suck up your money for no apparent reason. I hate them, but I love them. You know what? Here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to say this to you, P. Bell. Repeat, and then she, I don't know what your first name is. Write your first name in the chat. Repeat again. Another perspective. What's in it for me? Second perspective. What's in it for me? And then say it the first time. You did say it the first time. I'm looking at it right there. What's in it for me? You right. What's in it for you? I would agree. What's in it for you is very, very important. It's very important for us to all understand what's in it for me. Meaning it takes the effort. Meaning it takes effort to train, explain, blah, blah, blah. Okay? What does technical talent get for that? I don't know. You would think that people getting paid money would be enough. You would think that people having purpose would be enough. Unfortunately, when somebody has a what's in it for me attitude, it normally means that they don't have any of the other motivating factors around them. Because realistically, most knowledge workers that I know, purpose, autonomy, and mastery is what gets them going. When I don't see those things, I try to make sure that they establish it, right? But there's gonna be some people that are never motivated by anything, and that's okay. It happens. It's no big deal. Okay. All right. So that being said, I think I'm gonna have to go here with a caller, y'all. We're gonna have to go ahead and go make this thing work and make this thing happen. I done already brought you online here. How you doing there? How's it going?
Hello.
All right, Evelyn, Miss Evelyn. How's your day going? We're gonna have to go ahead and go. Now you gotta do me a
Hi,
favor.
Uncle
You gotta do
D.
me a favor. You gotta do me a
Surprise,
favor.
surprise.
You can't watch while you're on the show. You gotta mute the show.
Okay. Hello.
So
Let me
mute the
mute the
show.
show.
Evelyn, Miss Evelyn. So how's your day going? There you go. So you just close it out. There you go. Anytime you all are joining the show, just know everything is about 4 to 10 seconds behind. So it's all good. So Evelyn, how you doing today? Let's make sure I can hear you. I think you got yourself muted. Unmute yourself. There you
Hi,
go.
Uncle
I
D.
can hear you. I can hear you.
Thank you for having me on the show. And I just wanted to surprise you and come back online. Um, been wanting to join the show, but each time I'll be like, I'm not so sure. But today I had guts
Okay, so tell me what's going on.
because what we are talking about collaboration is
Hmm.
currently what I am experiencing,
Okay.
and so I just decided to come on show. I think I shared with you last time that
Hmm.
I just got my job,
Hmm.
and I am excited, but I don't know what I'm doing. To be honest with you, not that I have 5 teams.
Okay.
And these 5 teams have 5 people each.
Okay.
I
Whoa,
have
you have.
one,
Let's go back. You say you have
okay,
5 teams.
and 5 teams with 5 people,
Okay.
and 3 developers,
Mm-hmm.
one automation tester, and
Yeah.
one manual tester.
Mm-hmm.
And I have 2 product owners,
Okay.
three for the other, one for 2 teams, and
Okay.
one for 3 teams.
Okay.
And I started doing my events. I do
Mm-hmm.
my Scrum event,
Mm-hmm.
daily stand up.
Mm-hmm.
And so far, tomorrow it will be the end of the second sprint since I joined.
Okay.
So I will start on conduct my first retro.
Okay.
But on the sprint review,
Mm-hmm.
sprint planning, I haven't started to do those. I'm just still watching, like having someone who's doing knowledge transfer for me, and they're very good.
Okay.
They're business analysts, but I'm still a little bit
Yeah.
confused.
Okay. So here's
Like I
here's
told you, I come from the development side. I've been a
okay.
developer all these years for the last 15 years.
Okay.
So this is my first Scrum job. I think I talked to you about it, Uncle D.
Yeah. So here's my question for
So
you. Um, First thing to recognize is having 5 teams is a lot.
yes, that's
Okay.
true.
And I'm not saying that you can change this by no stretch of the imagination. So don't think that I'm saying you can change this. Um, but a scrum master classically would have 2 to 3 teams. Now,
Yeah.
no worries because when I was 2 years into being a scrum master, I had 14 teams. So it's nothing new about being overloaded with work that needs to be done. Okay? The situation that you have is really, really, really simple. With 5 teams, you have so much stuff to do in terms of setting up meetings and events, in terms of setting up events, and just making sure that things are operationally working, that you will not have a lot of time to help them with issues that come up. And you're probably experiencing that right now, if I'm correct, right?
Yes, I've been trying to, because when I came on board, they said I needed to do working agreements with each team. But to schedule that, so far, it's been a nightmare for me
Okay. Okay.
because they have so many things going on. And just to work with one team in a week, it's proving to be difficult.
Okay. All right. So let me ask you another question. It doesn't sound like management has high expectations of you truly doing Scrum here either, right? They just want
Not a,
you to be able to give them a cursory idea that Scrum is happening, right?
yes,
So now the first thing I'm gonna say to you is get your money, because at the end of the day, the truth of the matter is you're not going to be able to do a whole lot with a minimum amount of time to help the teams improve because you're going to be so busy dealing with the administrative necessities of making sure that the teams function. So just setting up events will continually take you a lot of time, which is probably happening to you right now, right?
yeah,
So now, if I'm you, if I'm you, what I would probably do is I probably would have a conversation with the powers that be, management, whoever it is. And I would ask them to prioritize those projects based on something, how valuable they are to the organization, how valuable they are to them, how important it is to get that stuff done, with an understanding of release dates associated, the next release dates associated with each one of those teams. Does that make sense?
yeah,
I would get that information because I would prioritize how much depth I need to work with each one of these teams on. Does that make sense? So the highest
yeah,
priority one is going to get more effort from me than the lowest priority one. It could be that they're closer to actually having a release than the other four. Or it could be that management thinks this is the top project in the organization. So I want to align that correctly because if I do that, it's going to help me align my efforts to management's expectations. Does that make sense? So
yes,
write that down because I need you to do that ASAP. Forget working agreements, forget all this other mess, right? Find that out first. Now, here's the next thing I want you to do. Okay? I want you to do what they tell you to do. If they say you need to get working agreements, get those working agreements because I don't want you to get fired. Does that make sense? You understand what I'm saying?
yes,
I'm
sir.
being real here. This ain't about the classroom
Yeah,
stuff. Don't get yourself
yeah,
fired, okay? You want to walk out when you want to walk out, okay? Now, beyond not getting yourself fired, the next thing that I would do, starting with my in priority order, is I would have a retrospective with the teams. Either a retrospective or a let's talk about the truth meeting. I call it a come to Jesus meeting, but if you're not a Christian, that may not mean nothing to you. But just a meeting that we get together to have a real conversation with each other. I say a retrospective because I want them to tell me what's the most important thing that they want to accomplish in the next sprint in terms of improvement. And I want to hear about some of the problems that they're currently having. That's going to give you some data. Some of those teams may be like, we don't even want a scrum master. Some of them may be like, look, just schedule some events for us and we'll be solid. They're going to give you an idea on how deep you can work with them, or maybe not so much how deep you need to work with them. Does that make sense? But having that retrospective is going to
yes,
give you some path and give you a pecking order to work with them on. Now, here's the beauty of when I do a retrospective, Evelyn. I kind of want to come up with two things out of retrospective: things that they can do and things that are not in their control. Again, things that they can do and things that are not in their control. Because the things that are not in their control are things that likely I have to do, likely things I have to escalate, likely problems that they have with the current process that management is making them go through. Does that make sense?
that does make sense.
You're going to likely hear, Evelyn, 20 to 50% of the same issues across all 5 teams that's in their control. You're going to hear 90% exactly the same thing that's not in their control. Does that make sense? Now you're
Yes.
getting agreement across the teams of where the problems are at that you need to tackle outside the room. And then you also have some things that they can work on to help you make the process better, to help you make everything better. Because they might be the team that says, hey, we know how to plan. We know how to get our planning stuff together very, very well. So we need your help very little bit in this meeting. Does that make sense? But we really need your help in this. And, daily scrum, you ain't never got to show up because we got that. We don't even want to have that anyway. So you'll find places where you can kind of ebb and flow. You'll find places where you can work a little harder at, and then other places where you don't have to work so hard. And you want to find those gaps because you don't need to treat all the teams as equals. You need to deal with the team set of concerns and not just be like, this is generic scrum, let's just apply it equally across all teams. That's not what you want to do. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So when you have that retrospective, it's going to give you ammunition. Because now that 90% is common amongst those 5 teams
Yeah.
is stuff you take to management now. Stuff you bring to management's attention that, hey, management, we have this issue and this issue. Okay, let's take this issue first. Is this something that y'all willing to help improve or not? Because there are going to be many issues that management's going to say, that's not going to change. And that's okay. As long as you know that's not going to change, then you can go back to the team and say, let's not talk about this anymore. It ain't going to change. Does that make sense? So they know their limitations, and you know what walls you can go through and not pass through and be able to pass through. All those things you want to actually know. So it's really, really important for you to do those things. Does that make sense? So now, I gave you 3 things. What are those 3 things I told you to do? Because I know you've been writing.
I just gonna need to get the release dates for the projects.
But
Work on look to
now,
see.
it's a combination of things, right? So that first one is a combination of things. Get an understanding from management of the priority,
The priorities, yes.
right? And understand the release dates because the release dates do impact the priority. So, for example, if something is 4th priority, but there's a release coming up for that, you might have to spend more time on that. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Or if they just released something, they may have had a lot of defects and it makes more sense to work with them at that time. So you got to understand those 2 elements. If you don't, then you can miss something. Okay? What's the second thing?
Do the retro.
Do the retro across all the teams,
Our
right?
teams. Yeah.
And what am I really looking for you to get out the retro?
To get to understand what is important to them or what they need,
Mm-hmm.
how best you can be of assistance, or they can let you know what they need in
Mm-hmm.
terms of their what's working and what's not working.
Right. And what else did I need you to get as a part of that?
Uh, taking the once I get that the
Mm-hmm.
issues to management, I to see how best management can help when they I take the
Now
issues
let's,
to them.
let's let's take it back because I want you to get this. I
I
need you
didn't
to make
get
sure
it.
you get an idea of what's in the team's control and what's not in the team's control.
Okay,
Those
there are
2
things
things are
not in
very
their
important,
control.
right? Because things that
Yeah.
are not in the team's control, you will have to escalate with the powers that be.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yes, they
Um,
can what they can do and what they in their control that I can escalate to management.
and it's not just that these are between the 5 teams, they're going to probably have 90% the same problem that needs to be escalated to
25.
management. Okay? So you want to find those things in common and make sure management understands and knows those things. It's likely they're going to do nothing about it, and that's okay. But what they can do something about is important to you as well. Okay?
Let's say.
What was the third thing?
Um,
Because I think we covered the third one already. The second one
yeah, I think
was to do what they tell you to do so you don't get fired.
to do the working
That's the
agreements.
second one, right? So if they say do working
Yeah.
agreements, do working agreements. But here's a silly thing because it's so stupid. Once you do one set of working agreements, copy those and take them to the next teams. They're gonna change one or two things on those working agreements. Working agreements are 70% the same across teams. So once you get one and you've worked through one, just take it to the other ones
Mhm.
and say, hey, we got to start in place. What do you think? What should we change? And take you 5 minutes to do the rest.
Okay, so I can go with my working agreements that I have, like I've seen from my other jobs, what we're doing. Can I just
They'll be
document
happy.
things like that?
They'll be happy if you come
And
in with
then
the
I'll ask
things that they
them.
can be done. Yeah, yeah,
No,
they'll be
I'm
happy
not
with that.
saying that I'll take it. I'll just like have a skeleton of what I want them to be talking about, right?
Trust me.
Okay, because I'm
Anybody,
starting those on Wednesday.
yes. So
Tomorrow is
anybody,
retro. I'm starting the retro.
okay, you should do that. And just remember, if you bring
I have
anything to
three.
them already, then they will have no problem beating it up. People like to beat things up that exist. So if you bring something, just don't be married to it. It's going to go and be abused, and that's okay. But it can be very helpful to them.
Okay, okay. Yeah, because I didn't know where to start. Trust me, I know we have done that in my all other jobs that I've been
Mm-hmm.
working as a developer with. We have done that, and I wasn't sure how to present it to my new teams. And now that my role has changed,
Listen, Christine, let me tell you something, Evelyn. Don't
yeah,
you ever worry again about how to present it to the teams. You just present it.
okay,
If
okay,
it's wrong,
cool, brother.
they're going to tell you. If you make a mistake, it's okay. No worries. We are designed to make mistakes. I've made a ton of mistakes, and it always turns out to be okay. You're not going
Sure.
to die from making a mistake. So make your mistakes early, and they all know you're new, right? So
Yes.
then you can say, I'm sorry, I'm new, I'm going to get better.
And just to share this with you, one thing that I've noticed,
Mm-hmm.
these teams, they already know what they do and they already know the rules.
Uh huh.
Because when we go to Scrum of Scrums, each representative, instead of Scrum Masters, right?
Yeah.
Each team representatives brings in either whatever they want to share with the bigger group.
Okay.
So and when they go into their grooming, they already know what they want. But one thing that I have to keep reminding them, that one thing that I'm picking up is they forget to update the statuses in the
Yeah.
we don't use Jira, but we use some version, whatever system that they use.
Mm-hmm.
So as a result, what I'm seeing that is helping me now
Mm-hmm.
is I pull up the bend down chart every morning. And I was, oh,
Okay.
I forgot to update this. You see? So because I already had received an email, two emails from two different product owners. One was saying in their grooming, one
Mm-hmm.
of the teams, they don't collaborate. They are just quiet. They don't answer. They don't, even when they are sizing these, they just keep quiet.
Well,
Or they'll just like, are you in agreement? They're like, oh yeah, I'm good. I'm good. So they were asking me to help, but
mm-hmm.
then what I only did was I gave them that link for poker. I
Mm-hmm.
said, let's use that. So today, because we were doing what we call end of sprint,
Mm-hmm.
just highlights before the next tomorrow, the actual end of sprint.
Mm-hmm.
She said that one of the product owners says, thank you so much, Christine, for sharing this link. Our teams are loving it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's the only thing that I've done in 4 weeks.
Well, I'm not going to say that that's good, but I guarantee you've done more than that. I guarantee you have done more than that. So here's a couple statements. First, we
Okay.
don't call it product backlog grooming anymore. We call it product backlog refinement.
Yeah, with
So we
product, right?
talked about that in class. So make sure that you start changing that culture and changing that language. There could be a lot
Sure.
of things going on why people don't want to speak up inside of a refinement session. So I believe that that's something you need to have a conversation with them about in the retrospective. And the
Sure.
reason why I say that is because a refinement session doesn't necessarily have to have any developers in it at all. Because if you're only talking about the requirements and there's no room for estimating, they're working on requirements, and while your developers are sitting there, they're doing nothing as the team is working or the group is working on a set of requirements. So realistically, what are they expecting from them beyond estimation becomes the question. Because most developers have never used a product, they don't really know the customer. And since they don't know the user or the customer, it makes it harder for them to have comments on the actual requirement, if that makes sense.
I think I have to attend these grooming sessions
The
because
refinement sessions.
yeah, the refinements sessions because I haven't attended them because
Hmm.
I've not been invited in them. So that I can understand what they talk about in there. I don't know yet.
Yeah, I would attend them. I would attend every event. I would attend every event that I could, not to go in with the purpose of changing it,
So,
but to go in with the purpose of observation so you can make
okay,
suggestions. As
okay,
I tell many people, your job as a scrum master is not to make people do what they're supposed to do. One of my mentors, Tom Meller, said to me, I believe on this show, if I have a bunch of people that is going to go jump off a mountain, jump off a bridge, as a scrum master, it's not my job to stop them. It's my job to advise them that that may not be a good idea, and there's other ways that we can accomplish whatever it is that needs to be accomplished. Does that make sense? So just remember,
yes,
don't go into don't go in there and start being a scrum by the book person.
okay,
Scrum by the book is probably not going to help you with this team. So you go in with suggestions of improvement, not being the scrum police. Does that make sense? If
yep,
you do that, I believe you're going to be perfectly fine. Okay? So hopefully that helps. Hopefully this information helps. You're going to
it
come back
does.
and let me know how it goes, right?
Yes, definitely, Uncle D, I will. And I really appreciate all this and
I
looking forward
appreciate
to
you too.
tomorrow. And also, I will send you an email. I still need some
You,
help.
you have my
You know,
email.
I
Just
was
send it to
supposed to
me.
attend that class. I I know. But thank you. I'm going to hang up. I'm still
Okay.
here though.
No problem. No problem. You just got to turn it back up. All right. Thank you so much. We'll
Yeah.
talk soon.
Thank you. Bye.
All right. Bye bye. All right. I have another person here that is joining us, so I'm going to go ahead and pull them straight in. Let's see. You're muted. Your camera's dark, so I can't see who you are. Uh, Doten, the name Dotun. You have to unmute yourself if you're going to be on the show. I don't see that you've unmuted yourself.
Hi, David.
Hey, how you doing there?
Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
I'm good.
So talk to me. Tell me
Yeah, just a
first of all,
second.
pronounce your name for me. Oh, they left. Uh, all right, they left. They may come back. Okay. Um, if you don't want to be on video, I'm perfectly fine with that. For anybody out there, you're always welcome to join the show and not be on the camera. That's okay by me. It's just the one good thing that I do need from you is audio that is going to be good because that's going to be helpful. Hey again, how you doing?
Yeah, good. Can you hear me now?
I definitely can hear you. How are you tonight?
I'm good. And you?
I am perfectly fine. Do me a favor. Pronounce your name for me.
Yeah, Dalton is good.
Dalton. Okay.
Yeah.
Dalton, welcome, welcome, welcome. Do you have a question, comment, concern?
Yeah, I just want to appreciate you for putting this up. I'm really loving what I'm hearing from you.
Okay.
I'm also an agile coach, and I really love your perspectives of not just playing by the books, because
Yeah.
for me, that's very important.
Mm-hmm.
In interacting with anyone, with any team, any organization, I want
Mm-hmm.
to, first of all, diagnose, what real reality is for you at the
Mm-hmm.
time, before I begin to say, hey, how can we work together, right? Forget about the books. The books are good
Mm-hmm.
for certifications, and all of that. But in reality, you want to be able to identify what is the real things, that
Mm-hmm.
people are having to deal with, and then work with them step by step to take them to a more comfortable position where they
Yeah.
can begin to see the light. And it's always a journey. There's
Yeah.
never a time where you would come to a place where you say, oh, yeah, we've lived out the entire book, and then let's have the volume two, of a Scrum Guide or whatever that is, right? So
Yeah.
I'm really loving your energy. I love your passion. I love your perspectives because that's very much like what I also do. Just think outside of the box, to fix things, and working with people to really get that going. And I'm very big on collaboration as well,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to appreciate you, say, hey, big ups to you, and just keep
Thank you.
keep driving, the
Thank you.
community to a better place, man.
We're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep making it happen. I'm always gonna say to people, I might as well say this now. Just make sure you like, you share, you subscribe on YouTube. Because we're trying to grow the community. We're trying to get to 1,000 people by the end of the year. We're at like 548, so that's a good thing. But let me ask you a question, coach to coach.
Mm-hmm.
Isn't it extremely obvious? Oh, he dropped. He dropped as I'm about to ask him a question. I'm gonna assume he's gonna come back on because I'm gonna ask him this question if he does come back on. But AB, there you go. Love it, dude. I love the way that you put that. I don't know exactly what you're talking about right now, but that's okay. Cause I just talk. I'm just being me. Let's put it that way. But thank you for the comment though, AB. Let me bring him back in. There we go. There.
Can you hear me?
Hey, I can hear you. I can hear you. So let me ask you
I'm
this
so sorry.
question.
I'm trying to get my camera up, and
Don't
unfortunately,
worry
I'm
about
not.
that. Don't worry about that. That's
Okay.
okay. We're
Good.
talking. All I
Great.
need is your audio. So
Mm-hmm.
here's the deal. Let me ask you. Let me ask you this. Isn't it extremely obvious when somebody's brand new at doing this?
Honestly, what I tell people is very interesting, right?
Mm-hmm.
So all you just need to do is to first of all relax.
Yeah.
Nobody really needs to know that you're new on this.
Yeah.
Just relax,
Mm-hmm.
right? Take it easy on yourself. Don't be too
Mm-hmm.
hard on yourself because the moment you are too hard on yourself, what then happens is that you set up yourself to be apprehensive, to be
Mm-hmm.
anxious, and that comes through very easily,
Mm-hmm.
right? It comes through in the texture of your voice, your tone, your
Mm-hmm.
facial. I mean, if you have your video on, I mean, it's even worse, right?
Yeah.
You become sweaty, and
Mm-hmm.
all of those kind of things, right? So really, being new is a great thing. We all started new.
Yeah.
Nobody got their first Scrum job being a Scrum Master from the mother's womb,
Yeah. Agreed.
right? So everyone one day was new on the job.
Mm-hmm.
However, what you need to know is that, hey, for these guys to have hired me, then that means that they must have seen something in me that they like.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Absolutely. And I agree with that 10,000%. And what I would add to that is this for everybody out there. And hear what I'm saying to you. Enjoy being new. You will never be new again. There's a beauty to being new because that ignorance is bliss. So enjoy being new. I loved being new when I was in this Scrum thing because there's so many things that I learned. When AB Lobo says here, hey, about advising a man about not jump or trying to jump off the bridge, I learned that from somebody else. I learned that from being new. You understand? And being new is great. This is how we get new blood in, but enjoy being new. It's a beautiful thing. And take it as being something valuable because you'll never be new again.
Yeah. And let me also add this, Coach, to what you just said, right? You bring a unique perspective.
Yeah, you do.
Right? There is no other version of yourself out there in the world, out of the 8 billion people that exist on the face of the earth right now.
Yeah.
Discover that uniqueness you bring on the team or on the teams. Right? It could be your sense of compassion, your sense of empathy. It could be your sense of, just being a very great active listener. Right?
Yes.
People are looking for people that can listen to them. And if you bring that dimension on the team, trust me, you're beginning to build that trust. You're beginning to build, their ability to lean on you. You create a psychological safety, on the teams, right? And then before you know it, you just realize that you're coasting along. And then because you're paying attention to the things that really hurt them or the things they aspire to become, right? You have your support system. We have you in place. Can reach out to you, can reach out to other agile coaches out there, and all of that, and then ask questions, that would eventually lead, to you getting the necessary information you need to deal with the situations on ground.
Agreed.
Nobody needs to really know what you're going. I mean, your support system or how that works for you. Nobody needs to know that.
But here's what I'll say to you, Dalton, and I'm gonna say it to you real differently. Because I agree with what you're saying. But I'll add this because Evelyn says here, sure, I'm allowing myself to be vulnerable and sure, I need to enjoy being new. And let me tell you something. With me, I go back and I say, hey, everybody, I'm absolutely brand new, barely know what I'm doing. And you know what people come do? Help me.
Absolutely.
Like, when was the last time you had somebody new around you that was new to this agile thing, Dalton, and you did not help them?
Woo! Tell me about it.
That's never happened, has it?
Nope, not at all.
Now tell me the last time you needed to know some information and you went out on Facebook or LinkedIn or to a user group and asked a question and it wasn't somebody that'll help you. Tell me when that has ever happened to you.
Never.
So my statement is enjoy being new. Enjoy every aspect of being new because part of being new is you can ask the dumbest questions on the planet. And you know what people gonna do? Is answer them for you because you're, guess what? New.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying? So there's a beauty in being new. I walk in the room and I never say, man, this is what I do this though, that Dalton. I will walk in the room and say to people, this is Devon, Agile Coach Extraordinaire. I will do stuff like that. But the other way that I do things is I walk in and act like I don't know nothing. I don't walk in and say I'm a certified Scrum trainer. I don't.
Yep.
Because there's a beauty in being new. I just remember how it was being new, man. I really, really do. So anybody that's new, don't be afraid to ask people questions. You'll get more advice than you're ever willing to receive. Trust me on that. Trust me on that one, right?
Absolutely.
No, I appreciate you, man. Thank you for coming on the show. Thank you for the appreciation, man. Thank you for spreading the love. We need to do more of this stuff, man. You know, we here every Monday. Love to hear you come back. Love to hear you continue to share these stories with me, because this community is not just about me. It's about us.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Brother, I
Thank you,
appreciate you,
man.
man.
I appreciate you more, man.
Thank you.
I appreciate you. Yeah. Bye now.
Bye bye. All right, y'all. Good call. Good call. And I love accepting accolades. I do. But the accolades is to all of y'all, man. But let me tell you something, right? You know, I remember when I had Ken Schwaber. I used to do a user group, like literally a user group here in Dallas Fort Worth. And Ken Schwaber came on at one time. And at the end of that event, he said, and I kid you not, he was closing out the night, and he said, thank you to everybody that was in the room. Because at the end of the day, thank you. At the end of the day, it wasn't him that made Agile what it was. It was all of you all that made it what it is. And I'm saying that to you right now. Agile's not here because of me. Agile's lifeblood is you. Every single one of you. So the thank you is never to me. The thank you is to you. So I preach and I provide the good news because of you. So when you say thank you to me and you point that finger at me, just know that there's some pointing back at you. There's more pointing at you than there is for me. When you clap your hands for me, make sure you clap your hands for you. Make sure you clap your hands for you. Make sure you enjoy that beauty of being new at whatever you do, because it's good at being new. It's good being new. And Patrick, it's always a great session. But it's a great session because you show up. On that note, you all, I appreciate you all joining me. Make sure you like this thing. Make sure you subscribe to this thing, because we're going to keep this moving. Every Monday, 8 p.m. Central is what we do. And I'm going to be here unless it's a holiday. I'd even have it on the holidays, you understand? Because that's how much I love you all. So it looks like you all loved it today. If you do, spread the news. Let other people know about it. Let other people know about it. Because we're going to do this like this every single week. We're going to keep knocking it down, and we're going to keep making it happen. Okay? So bring your questions, bring your ideas. If you got some ideas about the show, let me know, because this is for us. It's not just for me. And, you know, I'm going to get some people to come on this show to talk to. Because I know you all don't want to see my ugly face every single week. So, but on that note, y'all, I appreciate y'all totally. I really, really do. Again, I could not do this without you. I just could not do it without you. I'm going to say to you all, hey, it's been a pleasure. Peace. I'll see you all next week. Same time. Same Agile time. Same Agile place. All right, y'all. I'll talk to y'all later, y'all. Enjoy the rest of your week. Make it amazing. Don't embarrass me on the street. Once again, don't embarrass me on the street. Y'all have a good one.